and welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, September 9th. I'm Adam Brown. Thanks for joining us today. On today's show, we will talk about a Health Connections class on balance and pole walking. And we will meet an accomplished writer whose mother was an artist. Mary Kay Grimaldi will talk to the writer and discuss how one of his mother's paintings ended up in the Shell Point thrift store. But first, don't forget that tomorrow is the opportunity to learn some history about Southwest Florida. Jim Powers is a research historian for the Southwest Florida Museum of History in Fort Myers, and he will be speaking about some of the people of this area, such as Ponce de Leon, the Calusa, and the Seminole tribes. He will also cover information about the American Civil War and Andrew Jackson. Jim's entertaining presentation will conclude with questions and answers. It all takes place in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands at 1 p.m. Tomorrow night at the Village Church is the final concert of the summer series. Pianist Dick Hyman will present big bands and combos. In addition to his solo performances of famed recordings, Hyman will also present documentaries and film clips from music greats like Benny Goodman, Louis Armstrong, and Duke Ellington. It will be a fun and entertaining concert you won't want to miss. Confidence, attitude, reflexes, and endurance are attributes that can help you continue living as independently as possible, according to certified group exercise instructor Lindy Smith. She has 2 opportunities for you to take advantage of the CARE class that involves balance and pole walking. Listen as Lindy tells Rich Nation all about the class.
Hi, Rich Nation here, and I have a special guest with me, and we're going to talk to you today for just a bit about an upcoming Health Connections class. This is Lindy Smith, and she is our certified group exercise instructor. Lindy, thanks so much for coming on the program to talk to us today. And it's called the CARE, Balance, and Pole Walking. And CARE is an acronym. What does CARE stand for, Lindy?
Good question. Confidence.
Confidence.
Attitude.
Attitude.
Reflexes.
Reflexes.
And endurance. The 4 things that seniors, active and not so active, aging adults need in their life so that we all can continue living independently as possible.
So how do we go about doing that with this class?
I've run this class before, and it's great. Because of the different segments, I'm able to tailor seated as well as standing exercises that concentrate on either confidence, attitude, reflex, or endurance, and with the help of
Wait a minute, you haven't been skiing lately, have you?
No. I'm a Florida girl now. I'm a Florida girl.
Okay.
But you might have seen people use these walking poles around Shell Point and wondered,
I have.
What are they doing? Well, when you put the confidence and the attitude and the reflexes and endurance together, this is the tool that I use to get everybody to that point. Because when you're confident, you walk with a confident gait, which means maybe less tripping, falling.
Right.
And with attitude, I'll tell you that this is something that I encounter every day with myself as well as aging adults. We all get so hard on ourselves. We come down on ourselves, and we have some very negative things going through our head about our bodies, about our skills. And the attitude in my class is turn it around. What little things can we find that we can clap our hands about and go, yay, I did it. Right. And also the reflexes are very important. So we play some games, and I have some skill building exercises, and the endurance, well, the poles help with that, because anytime you use your arms with exercise, the heart is more engaged, and of course more blood is pumping through your system.
This sounds like a lot going on in this class, and I guess that's why you're having it in the Village Church, because you need all that room to spread out.
This has been very successful in the church. We've done this several times, and I'll tell you what the success factors are. It's big, it's cool, it's carpeted, which is nice because even though these poles have rubber tips on them, you want to be able to push off confidently, and it's a nice smooth surface, a carpet all the way around the church. There's bathrooms, there's water. It's a perfect location for a class.
Right. Now, are these the same poles that they can take outdoors after the class and use?
Absolutely, but for the class we're on the inside, and the structure of the way that the church sanctuary is set up is nice because we can go around, we can go up the middle, we do drills, and there's chairs in case we get tired, we can sit down.
Now, is this a one-time thing, Lindy, or do people repeat this class sometimes?
There are 2 different sessions.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I thought, well, it's either a really big class, so you have to have 2 sessions, or people come back again.
Right. You sign up for one or the other.
Okay.
And one thing that I encourage people to do is give it a try. Come the first time, see if you like it, and if you really like it, come back for the second week.
Great. So when they walk away from this class, pardon the pun,
Yes.
they're going to have these care attributes to take with them. In other words, they're going to be better with more confidence, better attitude, better reflex, and more endurance, right?
I hope so. I really do, because I put the fun in functional.
Okay.
And functional fitness is everything to me. And having everybody walk away with those 4 things is so important in our lives and to me as a professional.
Okay, all right. So, do they need to bring anything with them? Do you supply everything, or do they have to get their own poles?
They need one thing.
What's that?
A smile.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I
That's
think even I could do that.
Yes. And everybody works at their own pace. So there's going to be a variety of abilities in the class, and I'm accepting of that. The one thing that I ask is that people that sign up for this class should be walking independently without an assistive device like a cane or a walker.
Okay, all right. Okay, so they need to be active enough to participate in this.
And to hold the poles.
And to hold the poles. So Lindy, I see that there's actually 2 sessions here, 12th and 19th of September. So explain that for us. Is that 2 classes that they go to both of those, or do they just pick one?
Good question. And it has to do with skill set. When we meet for the first time, we're going to be experiencing new movements and feel different muscles. And then the next week, we'll be able to reassess how we feel and take it from there and work on either the attitude, the reflex, or the endurance from there.
Okay, so it's actually like 2 parts.
That's right.
So they can, they really need to come to both of them, and that's included when you sign up. You'll be signing up for both.
That's right.
Both days, September 12th and 19th. Well, excellent. Well, it sounds exciting, and if you're listening and this sounds like something you feel like you could do or need to strive for because you want to get that care thing going in your own life, then sign up for it. It's the Care, Balance, and Pole Walking class. And like she said, there's 2 sessions, September 12th and 19th. They're at 9:30 a.m. in the Village Church. Thanks for joining us, and as Heather would always say, have a great, healthy day.
Not long ago, a painting was purchased out of the Shell Point Community Thrift Store. The person who bought the painting decided to research the artist to learn more about them. Discovering that the artist, Jean Earley, had passed away a couple years ago, she located Jean's son, Pete Earley, a successful author and mental health advocate. Pete was thrilled to have the painting given back to him to keep it in the family. At that time, no one really knew how his mother's art that was painted 70 years ago in Colorado ended up in Fort Myers at our own thrift store. Before giving you the rest of the story on tomorrow's show, we'd like to introduce Pete Earley to you today. Shell Point Life magazine editor Mary Kay Grimaldi was able to do an interview with Pete over the internet to find out more about the painting and the family.
Well, thank you, Pete, for being here with us today. We are going to be tracking down this mystery, and one of the questions I wanted to ask you was share a little bit about your parents and their early years. I understand, and I think our viewers here would be interested in knowing that your father was a pastor, and of course we want to hear all about your mother's artistic talents.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate this. You know, everybody thinks their parents are unique, and I'm no different. I adored both of my parents. My dad grew up in a very poor environment in New Jersey, but they were very proud that they were independent. They never took any kind of Roosevelt welfare as they saw it. My dad did become a minister. Disciples of Christ, for those folks who might be more from the Midwest, that's a Christian church. He served smaller congregations in Oklahoma and Colorado. And my mom was an artist. She graduated from the Philadelphia School of Art. And during the war, World War II, she worked as a draftsperson. And then she basically, like many women of her age and time, gave up her career for him. And she became the ultimate preacher's wife. She sang in the choir. She taught Sunday school. She used to do chalk drawings. Probably one of the high points of her art career was we lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And it's just such a lovely art community. And she showed her work there and really enjoyed that. And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the art communities. And she was very talented, not only a skilled drawer, but she did enameling. Where you, well, there you go. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, it's lovely.
But the other thing she did was she, like many people in the 70s, were trying new forms, and she perfected a type of painting that got a lot of attention. And it was taking a piece of plywood and using the grain in that wood to interpret a picture. And one of her biggest drawings, which I have hanging in my living room, is a river scene. And it looks almost three-dimensional because the patterns in the wood are reflected in the stream. It's a unique piece.
Tell me a little bit about the particular painting that we are trying to decipher what the mystery is. Tell us what you know about it.
Well, this was part of the fun of this and the excitement. My mom had died. And then my father had dementia. My mom died in December of 2013. I'd been taking care of her. She died at home. And my father died from dementia in February of this year. Because it's so difficult for caregivers when somebody has dementia, I decided to take a trip. And my wife said, "You've never been to Sanibel Island. You've never really been to Fort Myer to see it. So let's go down there." And it was right after we came back that I got a note from a woman who said that she had found this painting in a thrift store, your thrift store,
Yes.
and that it appealed to her. And so she bought it, and she noticed the name and a date on the back. And so then I write a blog. I'm an author, and I write a blog, and she tracked me down and asked me about it. What was so unique to me about this is that during my mom's career, I photographed all her paintings, and we had a catalog of them because she was very generous and she gave a lot away or sold them. This painting was not there. There was absolutely no record of this painting. And I asked the lady to send me a copy of it, and she sent me on email a copy of this painting, and I knew instantly it was my mother's because I recognized the art and I recognized the scene. I spent my high school years in Colorado, and this scene just was right out of Colorado. Interestingly, the back of the painting had her maiden name on it, and the front was signed with her married name. And there was also a date on there, and the reason I didn't have any record of her is this is one of her earliest paintings. This is right out of college when she was still her maiden name, right when she met my dad. And I took that painting and I compared it to the timeline that I developed with my father in his life, and I realized it was right when they went to Colorado when they were first married. And so I thought, how ironic to jump ahead. The woman who had bought the painting from your store bought it for her daughter who had moved to Colorado. And so had she not contacted me, the painting would have gone back to Colorado. And I just find that kind of an incredible coincidence and really lovely. But that scene is the mountains in the back and a yucca, what we call the yucca plant. People think Colorado is all mountains. It's not. The spine is mountains, but the flatlands are almost a desert, and that's where they lived and where I went to high school. So I was very touched by that.
Well, where is the painting residing now?
It's hanging in my house, and I'm very excited to get it back. I happen to have a lot of my mom's paintings. She was very prolific, but this one, of course, is very special.
You obviously have a lot of talents. You were a reporter, a journalist with the Washington Post for a number of years. You're a prolific author, New York Times best-selling list, and then you are providing presentations. You're a speaker, and now have an interest specifically in mental health issues in the United States. If you could, in some way, summarize that for our audience, they obviously might be very interested in your career path.
Well, I've been very fortunate. I did work at the Washington Post, and my first book was a New York Times bestseller and a mini-series on TV. I have had 4 New York Times bestsellers, and one of the books was a finalist for the Pulitzer, and it was about my son's breakdown. I have a son who happens to be the artist who had a mental breakdown, and I couldn't get him help. This is not uncommon in the United States. I rushed him to an emergency room. They said they had to wait until he got dangerous before they could require him to take medication. He ended up getting arrested. He broke into a house to take a bubble bath. Luckily, no one was there. I was so outraged that I couldn't get him help, and he ended up getting arrested. So I ended up actually coming to Florida. I spent 10 months in the Miami-Dade jail following people with mental illness out onto the streets. And my book is a combination. It's called Crazy, A Father's Search Through America's Mental Health Madness. And it's a combination of my family's struggle to help my son and the awful situation we're in this country where people end up in jail and prisons when they actually need treatment. People who are arrested for trespassing, who are wandering our streets, psychotic. And it's a real tragedy, and I spend about half my time doing advocacy now. I've been to every state but Mississippi and Hawaii, and I talk about how it makes more sense, and Florida is the perfect example, to treat people and get them out of jail than to have them in jail where they just waste their lives and our tax dollars.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us. We'll keep you informed, and we're looking for our residents to tell us the rest of the story.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Now it's time to check out today's happenings, menus, and Village Church connections.
Well, it sure is a great day. This is the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Caitlin Vanscoy, and this is Bev Chanley, and we're going to let you know all of Wednesday's activities. We start with 7:45 men's Bible study in the Osprey Room on the island. And then we move to 8 o'clock for the men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. Lily and Company Jewelers will be here for their weekly service at 8:45. They have a table set up in the Resident Activity Center. And Gerasi Travel will be here from 9 to 12 in the Egret Room to help you with all your personal traveling needs. Also at 9 o'clock, Watercolor Group with Phil Hilton will be in the Art Studio down in the Island Tunnel. And 9:15, we have the Card Making and Scrapbooking Group meeting in the Tarpon Room. The men's round robin doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts at 10 o'clock. And our last 10 o'clock activity is the ladies' Bible study meeting in the Osprey Room. The 10:15 Health Connections class is entitled Have Your Workouts Hit a Plateau? That'll be in the Social Center, and you do need to sign up for that. At 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands sailing their boats. And then we move to 11:30 for a Health Connections class, Agility and Flexibility in the Health Club. That's it for our morning. Bev, tell us about our afternoon.
We're going to start today at 1 o'clock with chess being played in the Library Lounge on the island. And at 1:45, we have a Health Connections class for you. This one is Balance and Mobility Training Level 1, and that's in the Health Club. We have Jazz and Stuff back in the Grand Cypress Room at 2:30. At 3 o'clock, we have the Bible study in the Community Room of King's Crown. We also have a Health Connections class at 3 o'clock, Pilates stretch down in the Health Club. At 4:30, it's time for indoor bocce set up in the Health Club on the island. And then at 5 o'clock, we have the singles table at the Crystal Dining Room available if you would like that option. At 5:45, we have the church choir rehearsal in the Village Church Choir Room. We round out the day with 7:15 prayer and praise at the Village Church. We hope you have a great day today, and we will see you back here again tomorrow.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes and carrots. The soup of the day is lima bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a taco salad for $7.75. The dinner special is fried shrimp for $8.75. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, Randy Woods. It's my privilege to serve as the Minister of Worship and Music here at the Village Church. As we share so much at the church and here in the community, we realize that music is a very special gift that is wonderfully experienced time and time again here in the church and the community. I appreciate the words of Martin Luther, who said, "Music is the art of the prophets and the gift of God. Next to the Word of God, the noble art of music is the greatest treasure in the world." As I think about the gift of music, certainly it's my privilege to direct the Village Church Choir as they sing week after week and for special occasions. But I'm aware as well that in our community there are so many residents who share their time, their gifts, their love for music, their love for God through the gift of song. I think of the recorder ensemble as they meet week after week and play their recorders and then occasionally participate in special programs. And then the toe tapping that goes on in the Woodlands every Wednesday afternoon with jazz and stuff as they play those familiar show tunes, love songs, popular music that we've sung through the years. And you can be a part of that with a sing-along that you'll enjoy on Wednesday afternoon. Then as season gets moving along here, you'll have the string ensemble gathering to play all the violins, the cello, the bass, as well as the tone chimes, ringing out, chiming out music, which is a lot of fun. There's a small ensemble called Nostalgia. That ensemble playing popular music, instrumental music, will be playing for our Kaleidoscope concert coming up in October. The Village Church is pleased to have a bell choir called the Celebration Ringers. They too will be ringing throughout the season as we get our bells off the table and ring them out for the glory of God. And then speaking of toe tappers, it's the line dancers celebrating through dance the joy of music. I trust that you'll be sure to check out the weekly reminder and make time to enjoy the gift of music. There are so many ensembles, so many different ways that you can participate making music here at Shell Point. As you read the weekly reminder, you'll note these ensembles, the times and places of rehearsal. You don't want to miss this opportunity to get involved and be a part of the gift of making music together. Johann Sebastian Bach said that music's only purpose should be for the glory of God and the recreation of the human spirit. Music was given to glorify God in heaven and to edify men and women on earth. It wasn't to make lots of money or to feed the musician's ego or to be famous. Music was about blessing the Lord and blessing others. We certainly experience that here as a community through the monthly hymn sings that go on in our community, times to sing and to express our love for God. And then in the fine and performing arts concerts, which includes world-class artists, ensembles, and of course, our own Southwest Florida Symphony. These concerts are scheduled throughout the season, and you'll find notification of those concerts coming up in the issues of Shell Point Life, as well as the weekly reminder. And then there's the inspirational music that's presented in the church's Season of Praise concert series, and that too will be announced in the Shell Point Life. Well, there are the regularly scheduled theater organ concerts in the Woodlands, the weekly church services, which includes your friends and neighbors sharing their gifts each week. And then another joy I have is to conduct the Shell Point Singers. And the singers meet every Monday afternoon at 3:15. I invite you to come and sing with us as we prepare to sing not only for our fall concert, Christmas and spring, but just to enjoy the fellowship, the friendship that is ours as we celebrate through the gift of music. The text says, "May your soul have the gift of music. May your heart be inspired with song. May the echoes remain in your memory, like a friendship that lasts your whole life long. When your joy is the joy of music, all the magical sounds you hear, every day that you spend with music is the best day, the best new day of the year." Certainly there are lots of opportunities. I trust that you too will step out and be a part of sharing the gift of music as we celebrate here in this community throughout the season.
Thanks for joining us on today's show. Be sure to watch again tomorrow as we will have more on the story of the discovered painting at the thrift store. And we'll visit with Erica May, who manages the store, to find out more about other treasures that are waiting to be discovered there. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, September 9th. I'm Adam Brown, and on behalf of the entire staff at SPTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.